Welcome back once more to the North American Star League. And before we jump into our first game of the day, it will be Major versus FireZerg. We got Clutch out here on the set just to talk to us a little bit about the Open tournament, what to expect from it, who's playing, and what the storylines are that are developing out of that Open bracket.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. This is the beginning of the end of the season, and what better way to get into the wild cards than to play in the Open? Now, we're going to start with the round of 64, and we have some very notable players. They're going to compete in the next couple days, and the two finalists will get into the seed for the wild cards, the third and fourth seed. Let's go ahead and bring up the first round of 64 player list that we have of the different players that have registered via the website. Here we go. Quantic Apocalypse, one of the notable players there. Gosu user as well. Binsky Light, Combat X, as Mr. Bitter mentioned. TSL Symbol, one of my favorite Zerg players. Also sort of an OGS Juke2. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's still on OGS Juke2, because OGS doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, that's
Clarity.
It's Clarity now. That's right. They still use the old names sometimes that they have on Battle.net when they register. All right, looking at the next list that we have, it is Slayers Brown. That's not a real Slayers guy. Ragnarok from Team SCV Life. Plus, we have Root Major, who we're going to see up against FireZerg tonight in our first match. Evereyes, one of the players that was in the Open bracket for MLG. Let's look at part 3. Quantic Golden, another notable player there. And moving down the list, Kawaii Light. Desro, one of the famous community players. And we have one more list for you guys of the different players that have registered for the round of 64. Trimaster up at the top, one of the players from Complexity. TSL Value, a.k.a. Cyrano, is in the Open, plus Fnatic J. Hendralisk, famous Canadian player, very good Zerg play style. Gix, and TSL Shine. Now these are the gentlemen that have registered for the Open, and we're going to show off these games in the next couple days here, and our schedule's actually adjusted because of this. We have our first game of Major versus FireZerg tonight. Tomorrow we're actually going to go live at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and show off some of the Open matches. Same for Saturday, and then Sunday we'll be starting at 1 o'clock to show off the semifinals and the finals. Guys, if there's ever a time to really study the storylines of the different players we have in our divisions and now in the Open, it's now, because they are competing for the finals. And that's going to happen December 8th and 9th.
Yeah, there's a ton of really good players in that lineup. Quantic Apocalypse is a guy that I'm watching really closely. I met him at MLG Dallas. This is the first time I'd ever interacted with him at all. He's formerly of Team IM. This is a special guy. He has so much personality. He reminds me a lot of Violet. No, not even that. He's like a fusion of Violet and July Zerg, because he's this kind of round fellow.
I miss July Zerg.
But he's very energetic, and he's really, oh, hello, nice to meet you, and he's like just happy to be everywhere that he is. He's a jovial young man. And I think if we see some interviews and stuff, I would love to see him actually qualify. That would be great, because I would love the chance just to interview Apocalypse and get his personality out there, because he's a really fun, cool guy.
Love to see a Terran player qualify. So he does play Terran.
That would also be pretty cool. And a ton of other great names. Harstem's another player that I'm watching. He's a Dutch Protoss player of Team Fnatic.
Also named Kevin.
Also named Kevin. A Dutch Protoss player named Kevin.
It's also good looking. It's just a bunch of striking coincidences, Ben.
Well, we have a lot of TSL guys as well, and seeing Ragnarok play recently in the GSL, and Symbol, like I mentioned, one of my favorite Zerg players. The match he had against Violet at one of the MLG arenas was one of the craziest matches I've ever seen, Zerg versus Zerg, and maybe we could see a rematch between them in the finals.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. See how Violet does.